Hey everyone, it's me, Ian from the Postal Hub podcast.
And Marek from Last Mile Experts.
And we are the Last Mile Prophets. Marek, we've read a little bit lately about the growth in buy online, pick up outside of store. Is that what it's called? Because BOPUS, click and collect.
Yeah, BOPUS and BOPAC, which I actually honestly thought they were US defense protocols for a while.
Well, I thought BOPAC was a rapper back in the 90s, wasn't he? Anyway, curbside delivery. So this is where you buy online, but you don't actually go into the store to pick it up.
Indeed.
And it's not a new idea.
To be honest, I have to be careful because I assessed Tesco as being the founders of some other ideas, but and I'm not sure it's them, but I think they were, if not the first, one of the first to do this in Europe. And I think Walmart were among the first to do it in the States.
I think the ones who've been getting the headlines lately in the USA has been Walmart and Amazon, where you pull up into the car park of a retail store and the retail assistant, whatever you want to call it, is alerted to your presence. They come out with the shopping trolley or whatever. You open your boot or your trunk if you're American, and they pop it in there. It's effectively contactless you're reducing the contact of being in the store and all of that. And that's why people are saying, well, this is going to be a growth area. And I saw that, Matic, and I thought, well, that's a nice idea, but how's it going to work in practice?
Well, the thing is, it actually does work pretty well. If you think about it, you eliminate the last mile. So you make your store a micro depot.
Yep.
And you're going to have the items in stock. Yeah, you're going to have a few extra people resources needed if it's a manual model. But actually, if you think about it, a lot of that process can be moved to lockers.
Right. I was waiting for you to say lockers. So let's just say you can move it to lockers. Is this where you need to be investing in refrigerated lockers, though?
Well, you see, this is a challenging one because refrigerated lockers are expensive.
Yeah.
They tend to go wrong. So my personal view is I would do it for all pantry and non-refrigerated items.
So it depends on the order. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. So if it's really grocery and you've got stuff that requires chill chain, you probably need to just have a large fridge and you quickly bring it out when the customer's there. It's going to be much more efficient.
Because you need to optimize. I know this is the postal guy lecturing supermarket people on how to do these things. Sounds a little bit odd, but I've done a bit of click and collect. In-store click and collect when it comes to ordering from the supermarket, just because I didn't want to traipse around the store and I didn't want to pay for delivery because I'm cheap. What can I say? But in-store it was poorly set up. And we've had this discussion before and written about it, about having to go to the customer service counter, say who you are, then they can't spell your name right and all of that, and then your stuff isn't there because it's got some refrigerated food in there, and they've had to call, can you please come to the service desk? And then eventually bring, you think, well, I haven't saved a lot of time, but it should work well. Now, so that is just in store. When you talk about curbside delivery or delivery into the car park or something like that, I can see issues there as well. And let me tell you why. A few years ago, Canada Post set up a great drive-through system for collecting carded parcels. Do you remember this?
Yep.
And I thought that's brilliant. But what's the problem with that? It works really well for a lot of the day. And then in peak times, you get everybody queuing up around the block in their car to do a drive-through parcel collection, because they had one service window, okay? Now, let's say in a supermarket, you might have a number of dedicated parking spots or whatever, but you've still got the capacity issue there.
But all you need to do is plan ahead. And, Ian, I think it's about having the right resources, and they can be manual resources, more people, up to a certain point, after which you have to automate. Because, the old saying, too many chefs in the kitchen.
Well, there's social distancing to take into account as well, which will probably be some sort of a new normal for the foreseeable future anyway. So.
But I reckon, Ian, that what could happen if and when the project is successful, you just end up having more windows. You have maybe a refrigerated area serving several windows because it's not economic.
Or would you have to have a time slot approach? I mean, the same way that we have time slots for delivery, would you have time slots for collection? Or is that putting up barriers and making it less customer-centric?
If you are customer-centric, if you can give the customer what he wants, don't you do that? And then you just have more staff at windows. So if you have a call center, what happens with the call center? You have certain peak times where you double the number of staff. And then when there's not much happening, you have half the number of staff. I reckon that it's all doable, but it's a question of somebody taking the Amazonian or maybe the Facebook approach of, really being customer centric, trying to think, okay, what do we need to do to make Ian Kerr and the million other customers really happy?
And that making the customer happy is really important, because groceries are pretty competitive. For most of us, we have a choice of supermarkets where we can shop. Not all of us, okay, but for most of us, even if it's an independent versus a major chain or whatever it is. So that customer focus is important, and I think that the risk of sort of going on a little bit here, customer expectations have been driven by their online experience in getting things home delivered. They expect that same level of customer experience when it comes to effectively click and collect.
But you know what, Ian? I can't remember the data, but I've seen 5 or 6 reports recently talking about lockers, Pudos, and other out-of-home alternatives. And I am endlessly surprised at how high the if it's an NPS Net Promoter Score is, or the satisfaction score is. Because the reality is, despite some of the negatives, the customer chooses when, and provided, as we discussed, there are enough windows open and you serve the customer properly, it's actually a much easier experience than being at home when it's quite likely the courier will be late, something will go wrong. So I'm not so sure actually it wouldn't offer a higher experience.
Well, I guess I'm inserting my own personal experience here. I mean, I liked it because I didn't have to pay for delivery, and for what you just said about not having to wait around for the delivery. And in the case of where I used to live, not worrying whether or not the elevator would be working, because, I'm middle class and I get embarrassed when somebody knocks on the door and they've had to climb X flights of stairs with my supermarket shopping. Anyway, maybe that's just a middle class thing though, Mark. But in all seriousness, I think that click and collect has various advantages over two-door delivery.
Ian, there's a deeper point, and the deeper point is that guy who went up to the 10th floor to deliver the thing, it was time, effort, potentially the lift wasn't working. And that's another thing about click and collect. It allows you to do it in a much more effective manner, therefore potentially being able to do it free or as a subscription product, which is very hard to do with a two-door delivery.
Now, Marek, we've been talking about really supermarket buy online pickup at the curb, or whatever you want. Was it called? Bopac?
Yeah, something like that.
You all know what we're talking about here. But it can equally apply to various other big box retailers where you might be buying a variety of other goods that for whatever reason you don't want delivered home, or it's just more convenient for you to pick it up when you're doing a whole other run, etc., etc. Again, coming back to this convenience. But Marek, I think I'd really like to hear from all of our networks here as to what they think. Is this something that's going to continue to take off, and it will grow as e-commerce grows? Is it cannibalizing home delivery? Where does it all fit in to this delivery landscape? Mark, you got any final comments on this before we wrap up?
And where is it going to go? What is the direction? Because I think there's going to be a revolution post-COVID, and we've said the current norms are not going to be the new norms. So I think it's going to be interesting to see what people's views are.
I'd also like people to tell us, where do you think it's going to be fulfilled from? So sometimes you buy online and it's fulfilled in store and you collect it at the store. Other times you buy online. I bought from a major retailer and I could see that it was fulfilled elsewhere and then shipped to the store with a whole heap of other things, put into various lockers at the store for people to collect. So there's different ways of doing it. How is it going to happen? Especially when we're seeing increasing levels of automation in supermarkets and fulfillment, etc., etc. Comment below, share your opinions. Marek Ruzetsky from Last Mile Experts, thanks for being part of this today.
And Ian Kerr from the Postal Hub podcast. Thanks for being here with us today.
Thanks, everyone. Catch you next time.
Hey everyone, hope you enjoyed this episode of The Last Mile Profits.
Make sure you subscribe, hit the subscribe button and also the notifications bell so you get a notification every time we add a new video to this channel. Look forward to sharing more stuff with you on The Last Mile Profits.